I find it hilarious when people are trying to like break into a jewelry store and get caught in the.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
Do you remember, is this International Joke Month? A joke day or something?
No, I didn't, I didn't do my homework. I didn't check it out. So
okay. Well, you didn't do yours, I didn't do mine, but we can always use a bit of levity, a laugh. So let's see what we were
so much going on. What do you consider a funny news story? What's funny? What's a funny news story to you? Tell me of a funny news story that you've heard in the past.
I'm trying to think. Maybe it's not funny, but I find it hilarious when people are trying to like break into a jewelry store and get caught in the ceiling or something, and their legs are dangling out. That's funny to me.
Girl,
you're going
that's
in
TV. That ain't reality.
No, Teresa, those are real stories. What, are you kidding me? You've never heard?
You've heard that before.
Teresa, really? You've never heard of that? I've seen actual news accounts of that. Of people going in and getting stuck, and like, are people going in to maybe rob a place and the place locks down and they can't get out? You've not heard of that? Of course that happens. So that's the kind of stuff that I think is funny.
No.
I don't want anybody to get harmed, of course, but it's like you're going in for the wrong reason, and then you didn't do your homework to figure out what you were getting into. So it's that kind of thing. Like I already know I make a poor criminal, so anyway.
Well, then maybe it's art reflecting real life, but I could have sworn that I've seen both those accounts in like maybe a Martin Lawrence movie or a Kevin Hart movie, but
you know what? They might have gotten it from them. They don't do everything that's original. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That happens, but it happens in real life, So there you have it. Yeah.
Well, I got a story for you.
Okay.
I got a story for you.
Oh, you took me through all of that, and you have a story. You see what I deal with people?
You know what, Lou? You are so easy.
Really? Okay. I
have a story, Lou.
Go ahead.
I just needed to kind of see what you thought was funny before I said this, and then you tell me, Teresa, that's not funny.
Okay, well then you were smart.
So I'm looking out for my own best interest.
Right. Well, go ahead.
And my feelings.
Go ahead. I tell you, so sensitive. Go on. How we gonna do a show with all of this sensitivity we got going on? I just told you about the lady that wants to be on TV. And then, that's her goal. And she's so controlled in how she conducts herself and in her language. How you gonna be on TV like that? That's not the way that works. Teresa, we took acting classes. You have to be a bit freer. So this isn't gonna work. Tell your story. Or tell your current event. Whatever. And anyway,
this happened last week.
Okay.
What? Anyway, what? Go ahead.
I was gonna say we can edit it. We did learn how to do that in our class.
You are so crazy.
Yeah.
So a woman in Poland had quite a fright when she looked out and looked up in a tree and saw what she thought was a bizarre animal hanging from her, and it was just outside her window, and it was there for a few days. She thought it might be an iguana or something like that, according to the BBC. This is where I got the story from.
Yeah.
So she called the Animal Welfare Society, and they came, and when they showed up on the scene, they were able to nab the mystery animal breaded bread-handed.
What?
That's the joke.
What?
She was able to bread-handed because the animal in question turned out to be a croissant.
Ah! Are you serious?
Yeah. So what they thought was, there's a lot of birds in the tree that somebody threw a croissant up in the tree. It got stuck and it remained there. And the one
First of all, you didn't vet well enough what I think is funny about current events.
Yeah.
Second thing is that Spelman education of yours that's so prim and proper. Okay, that's just a problem for the show. What in the world? You telling me that's the big thing? It was a croissant? Okay, Teresa. All right. Okay.
No, yeah, and that they caught it bread-handed. That was funny to me when I read it.
All right. Okay.
I actually chuckled, and I needed that laugh, Lou. Don't take that from me.
Okay, I'm not taking that from you. Okay, this is the kind of stuff I think is funny. I did find one because this is funny, but it's also a bit sad and like I can't believe it. But then nothing shocks me. Okay, a Florida woman, 27 years old. Okay, so this is not a child. Called 911 3 times. Okay. It's an emergency.
Okay.
You know what the emergency was? She called 911 after she paid for a 10-piece chicken McNuggets at McDonald's, and the fast food restaurant ran out of it and refused to give her. And she said
that is sad.
If she had known, she wouldn't have ordered the McNuggets. But that was an emergency.
That is so sad. But you know what? I'd like to know something about this woman. I bet she's spoiled, used to having her way, and just self-absorbed. I mean, they should have arrested her for that. But she dialed 911. What in the world?
Resources, emergency resources.
Yeah.
But and that's what I'm saying, Teresa. This stuff is real. You say it's something they make up on TV, but people do this kind of stuff. They call 911 for anything. Now, clearly,
yeah.
I don't know. She might have been African American, but I ain't calling them for nothing unless I'm not calling the police. I'm trying to handle everything.
You absolutely right.
I mean, I'm afraid. It's like I don't even want them around me. I don't need that. So no.
I don't need it either. You're right. So we can make some assumptions in that, can't we?
I'm trying to figure out who called the police. Yeah. No. But I thought, wow. Yeah. She kept telling the people that this is an emergency. They want to give me a McDouble, but I don't want that. I want my McNuggets. So there you have it.
Oh my goodness. And still gonna make them give it to her.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah. So this is a bizarre story.
Okay.
And it's somewhat mean. It's somewhat mean.
Okay.
So this young guy had a job at a auto mechanic place, and something happened, and his employer, well, actually later reading further into the article, the employer, they referred to him as a 4-letter word that starts with a D.
Okay.
And he was rather mean to his employees. So he fired the young man for whatever reason and refused to give him his last paycheck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the guy filed a claim.
Yeah.
With the you read this story? You've seen this story?
I've heard it about 5 times, but go on, Teresa, because apparently your idea of hilarious and mine, we're a little off, but go on with it.
So the employer paid the young man with 90,000 oil-soaked pennies.
That's me.
How mean is that?
That's me. All that energy and effort to get someone. I mean, think about that. You know how much time they had to put into that? Wow.
Yeah. Instead of just paying what he owed him.
Right.
But, and so you couldn't then file a claim and say he didn't pay him. He delivered the money. it just happened to be in pennies and oil soaked, meaning that this guy had to then clean them.
That's terrible.
Before he could, yeah.
Well, there is such a thing as karma, and that's nothing to play, really.
Well, yeah, because he's been, with the cancel culture, when this story made it into the media, people gave him really bad and negative reviews on Yelp and Google.
Girl, that cancel culture is real. It is real.
It is real.
Yeah. But
it is very, very real.
It is. But Teresa, that was the only current event that I thought was funny. Okay. A man and a woman were having dinner in a fine restaurant. Their waitress, taking another order at a table a few paces away, noticed that the man was slowly sliding down his chair and under the table, with the woman acting unconcerned. She was just sitting there. The waitress watched as the man slid all the way down his chair and out of sight under the table. Still, the woman dining across from him appeared calm and unruffled. She was apparently unaware that her dining companion had disappeared. He was just sliding under the table. After the waitress finished taking the order, she came over to the table and said to the woman, "Pardon me, ma'am, but I think your husband just slid under the table." The woman calmly looked up at her, face straight ahead, and replied, "No, he didn't. He just walked in the door."
That is funny.
And that's bad.
That is so bad, but that is hilarious. That is so hilarious.
That's terrible. That's terrible. But
How did you get that?
It happens. I don't know, but I thought that is hilarious because you know what? You can almost imagine this kind of stuff happening. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And hopefully they won't end up on Snapped or, one of the shows that takes it even further. So hopefully it was just that. Just a joke.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Snapped.
Teresa, I told you that education is stopping some things. Are you kidding me? It's a show where people get in relationships and they get caught and it's just awful. I used to watch it quite a bit, but then now she started looking at me
like an investigation.
Yeah. Now she started looking at me like, I don't know why you are fascinated with the show. I mean, he had a problem with me watching. So I thought maybe it's something to that because there's a lot of shenanigans going on. And it never ended well for people. I mean, really, it's and it's true. Like you said, it's like a 2020 Dateline investigation and they show you the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's probably a cable. I don't have cable, right? So it's probably the reason I'm.
Teresa, let's talk about that. How do you exist without it? Pray tell.
Lou, I can't remember when I had cable last. We didn't have. Nia is 20 years old.
Well,
we didn't have it at all.
I went without cable probably for about a year or two, about a year or so. And actually, there's a lot of junk on TV. There really is. So you probably fare better without it.
Well, I have Netflix. We have Netflix to see movies.
Okay.
But I don't have. I don't.
Well, but Netflix has some of those similar kind of shows because I've watched them on. I seem to be fascinated with relationships and things going bad. I don't know what that is. I watch them all.
So that means you can give good advice to people on what not to do.
I hope that's what it means.
Maybe we should have
I'm not so sure.
Maybe we should have a relationship conversation.
Well, but you know what though? I mean, everybody's different, but I guess it's just a social worker in me. I tell you, when I sit there and I watch some of this stuff, I'm always thinking, I know relationships are very hard, but I'm sitting there thinking, okay, why didn't you get out of that before you got to the point where you wanted to kill this? I mean, how did you get to that point where you thought that was a thing to do and hide their body and you were going to get away with it rather than at some point recognizing this isn't going to work? The whole thing, it fascinates me to watch that. How do you go from taking vows with somebody and pledging to love them from that to such extreme hate that you kill them and hide their bodies. I'm trying to follow the whole thing. And at what point I'm always assessing, okay, well, just stand up and say, you got to go. This isn't working. Or yeah, okay, they found out about the affair. Just admit it and keep moving on. Okay, people move on. And, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I don't, let's just say I can see how you can get to that point. But what keeps me from going through to the end, the killing and hiding the body and all that, is that I can't go down.
I know, right? I can't do that. I hear you. So
I can't do it.
I can't do it.
I just can't lose my freedom.
They're rough people.
So it ain't worth it.
No, right? Yeah.
So really, that's what saves. I know. That's what saves.
That's the same thing that saves me.
No,
I'm telling you. I know.
I can't do the jail thing. Okay, we digress. We're supposed to be funny right now. We're supposed to be
okay.
Let's stay focused. Okay. I got a story for you that I heard on NPR. It was just a brief mention. It was actually where this guy was headed to his own wedding. GPS took him to someone else's wedding instead of his own, right? Mm-hmm. And so him and some of his wedding party, they got settled in before they realized they were in the wrong wedding. Now that's hilarious.
How does that happen?
You know, the first thing I thought, because they have arranged marriages, right? They don't know their bride before.
Right.
They don't. Yeah. That's what I thought, because they did not say how it happened, but that could be the only way it happened. They wouldn't know the bride's family. They wouldn't know her family.
But I thought in arranged marriages, you at least, well, let me tell you now, like I said, I watch these shows because the ones that I watch, there's a show with Indian matchmaker. But on those arranged marriages, they meet the people, they meet the family, they're fully vetted and everything. Now, I know in some cultures or religion, they don't, you don't get to see the person or any of that. But I thought you in arranged marriage, you get to see them and know them better.
I don't know how it works. But they didn't go into any detail about what happened. They didn't go into detail about
they were at the wrong
why he was at the wrong.
Good thing they found out that he didn't marry the wrong person.
I know. That is funny. Oh, that is so funny.
All kinds of stuff happening, I tell you. But okay, let me see. Okay, this is a short one. I used to be addicted to the hokey pokey, but I turned myself around.
Lou, how old are you?
I know, but I'm telling you. But let me tell you, that was one of my favorite little things when I was a kid, was to do that. So when I saw it, I had
really?
To. Yes.
Don't.
So when I saw it, yes.
Don't indict yourself.
I don't care. I'm thankful to be alive, breathing, all of that. So I own it all. I'm not one of those women that runs from it. Trust me. Every day I get up, like the people said, I'm in my right mind and I can work out and enjoy myself. It's a good day. And I'm celebrating. Okay. And keeping up on that poking thing.
Wait, let's be clear on something. Let's examine that for a minute. I need to understand what you're saying. Okay. Just when did you start the hokey pokey? And did you get up every day and do it? What? No, tell me.
I mean, like when you're in elementary school and they give you a little break and you get to do the hokey pokey. When you're in like elementary school and they let the kids get up and do something because you've been sitting there all day.
You are talking about the kids song.
Yes.
Putting your left foot in.
Yes.
And your left foot out.
Pokey.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now.
Okay,
and because I saw
in regard to the joke you just told, that's just not what you meant, right?
Yeah, the hokey pokey. Yeah, that's what it said. And I turned myself around. Okay. You know, the song said, you do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about,
and
Teresa. That's what life is about. Life is about
and it's me
the
who's
hokey
clueless.
pokey. See, let me tell you something. There is a message, okay? And I think it must have resonated in my spirit when I was a little. Because, see, with the hokey pokey, you get to turn yourself around. That means that if I'm going down a path and the path isn't working for me. I'm getting ready to preach. You turn yourself around. You put one foot in. If that doesn't work, you take your left foot out. Okay? And then try the right foot
forgive
in.
Me.
And then if you put the right foot in, you take the right foot out. Teresa, you're trying things. That's what life is about. And if it doesn't work, you turn yourself around and try it again. Pick yourself up.
I'm crawling.
The hokey pokey gives children a second chance. Okay, Teresa? Okay. I want you to start seeing things. At Earrings Off, we see things not as they are. We get the messages in everything. The hokey allows you to live
I got a
life.
Message. I got a message. I got a message from that joke, but it wasn't that one. And so now I'm climbing out of the gutter.
Yeah,
and let's move on.
Don't get in the gutter. And that was about the hokey pokey. I see that Spellman education didn't play in that. Let's get in the gutter. Okay, but then it says that we're talking about the hokey pokey. This is talking about poking people. I hate when I go to funerals and people poke me and say, no. I hate when I go to weddings and people poke me and say, you know how they do the young people, the single people, you're next. You know, they always put you on the spot. So then I started going to funerals and I say the same thing to them. You're next.
That's so mean.
That's me. But I like it. It's a good retort. So single folks, when they mess with you at these weddings, and it's not only weddings, but Teresa, you know how when you're newly married and everybody first thing you want to know is, when, any news? She's probably going to be pregnant. Yep. You remember that? That's stressful. Stop doing that to people. That's none of your business when somebody, conceives or not. So stay out of that. But I digress.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the hokey pokey folks, I'm telling you, there's a message. So
alrighty.
That's what I got, Teresa. So that's our episode.
That's all I got,
That's our episode
that was
for
fun. Today.
And, life is hard. It is hard. And sometimes you just need levity. So we hope we've done that for today. Go back and revisit. There's a message.
Thank you. Take care.